Hello students, welcome to ICS Mahesh Pugh College Dharwad's YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be discussing on the concept called as basic concepts of object oriented programming, which is 6th chapter of your prescribed textbook. From this chapter you will be getting totally 7 marks. You will be having one question on 2 marks and another question on 5 marks. In this chapter, we'll be discussing the following concepts, like different approaches that were used for solving the problem. So any problem if we take, we have different approaches for that, and in order to solve, what are different types of programming approaches were used, that will be discussed. Next, you'll be introduced with object oriented programming, what is the meaning of it and what does it consist of and what are the characteristics and features of it. Then we'll be having the thorough discussion on characteristics of OOPs, like polymorphism, inheritance, data encapsulation and handling, etc. So that will be discussed here. Definition, this is most important. Classes and objects. What is a class and what is an object? We'll be discussing those with an examples. So there we'll be discussing some examples which are relevant in the real world and how it has been implemented in the form of the programs. So that is the main concept of object oriented programming, and hence that is very important from the point of understanding. Next, characteristics of object oriented programming that we have already discussed, we have already said. Advantages of OOPs and application of OOPs. So these are few of the concepts that we'll be learning in this chapter. First of all, let us start with introduction to programming approaches. What do you mean by programming approaches? A program, you already know that. What do you mean by a program? Program is usually integrated part of solving problem using computers. That is, it is some set of instructions that are being written by use of certain programming languages, which helps us to solve the problem. So as you already know that we have different types of programming approaches that were either in the form of low level languages, then they were converted in order to have ease of programming. We have got with assembly level languages, then we have got high level languages. So that is how evolution of the programming languages were taken place. So there are different types of programming approaches that we can make use of. So there are different types of programming approaches, like object oriented programming, it might be procedure oriented programming, or it might be structured programming, unstructured programming. There are several different types of programming approaches that were used before we were using object oriented programming concept. So in why we require to make use of this programming approaches and what is the need of it? So need is usually in order to solve the any of the problem using computers. Computers, you already know, it is the machine that works upon low level instructions, and it is working upon the machine languages. We are supposed to be knowing how to communicate with a computer. So in order to do that, we have certain types of programming approaches, like low level programming approaches or middle or assembly level programming approaches, using which we are going to interact with the computer. So designing of efficient and reliable program is the need of the hour, and we require to write the programs accordingly, either making use of high or low level languages. We are going to design the program and we are going to solve the problem. Different approaches that we already discussed, like the procedure oriented programming or structured or unstructured way of programming. So that all we have gone through once in our first year syllabus also. So that is same thing what you will be having here also, but we'll be having some characteristics of OOPs as well as procedure oriented programming that will be gone through. See, programming concept is one which demands changes. It's always volatile in nature. It requires various tools and techniques that are to be employed in order to solve a given program. So in order to do that, there were many programming approaches that were carried out through the process of evolution of the programming languages, and each and every programming language had its own merits as well as demerits that will be always there. So keeping in mind what kind of programs we are solving, or what is the need of that program, or the complexity or the simplicity of that program, we are supposed to be choosing one or other programming languages. So based upon, we are going to choose either we are going for procedure or object oriented program. It doesn't mean we are going to study only procedure and we are not going to make use of object oriented programming, or vice versa. It is not so. So we can make use of any of the programming languages according to the need of the programs, and we are going to solve it. So let us first consider with procedural programming. Procedural programming is a kind of programming approach where it follows some series of steps. So the programs are written, or they are divided in the form of set of steps, where we are going to start with the input part, then we are going to analyze what logic has to be applied and how the solution has to be derived. Along with that, third will be the output part. So the simplest way of writing the programs, where we are starting with input, then processing and output. That is how it goes. So procedural program will be seeing some a simple code for that. So usually the same thing we have said, the logic is expressed in the form of steps. So input or processing or any of the expressions that require logic will be determined in the form of steps. Let us consider the example like Pascal and C languages are purely based on procedural programming, where procedural programming follows a mechanism until and unless a call is not made to the procedure. Procedure, you already know, you have studied in first year, that it is nothing but a function. So until and unless a function is not called, it is not going to execute anything. That is, procedure has to be called first so that the instructions get themselves executed. So Pascal and C can be considered as procedural programming approaches. So example code you can see there. So in order to multiply, in order to find the number is even or odd, what we are doing is, first step we usually take the input, that is getting the number. I have written it in very formal code or very formal language, need not to consider like the program will in the same manner. So first what you are doing, you are getting the number from the user, that is the input part you have done, then finding the mod of that number by using some mod operations, and you are going to divide that continuously by 2, and the remainder, based upon that, you are going to consider whether it is a even number or odd. Once you have got with that, you are going to display the result. So that is how a simple procedural programming approaches will go. So this is with respect to procedural programming. Next we have another type of programming approach called as structured programming, which is little varied than that of the procedure oriented programming. So in structured programming, so we are going to follow the same steps, but with the most structured statements than compared to that of procedural programming. So we'll be having some of the structured statements like for statement, while, do while, or if statement, if else statement. Those are all examples for structured programming approaches. Structured programming, when we say, it is the block of statements which we already have defined how the statements has to get themselves executed. Either it is in the form of else, if else, or it might be in the form of looping statements, iteration, or some other kind of statements. So it is already well defined there. It has got its own set of blocks, and that will be executed accordingly. If I consider simple if else statement, so one is true block statement going to be executed. We know that it is going to be executed only when the condition will be found to be true. And when will be the else part executed? When the condition is found to be false. So this is clearly mentioned there. So it is been structured, or it has been a kind of block of statement that will be executed accordingly. So it is structured programming language. For that reason we usually say it as structured programming approaches. In order to solve any complex problem, we find that by making use of procedural programming approaches, it is not so much viable. So it does not match with the complexity of the programs, and we require to be using some of the structured programming approaches or structured programming concepts. So in order to do that, we are going to make use of these statements and writing the program. Then we shall see some of the characteristics of procedure oriented programming. First one we have, see, importance is been given to solving the problem. So usually, obviously we write the programs for solving itself, but apart from that, there are various criteria that has to be considered, like storage of data, retrieving of the data, or it can be the time or space complexity that has to be kept in mind. So we cannot simply develop a program which is efficient enough to solve the problem and which is poor to handle the data that is being generated. Hence, the importance that is being given in procedure oriented programming is only on solving the problem but not on data. So that is the first characteristic. Then we all know that the programs in procedure oriented programming is being divided into number of small parts, because in order to reduce the complexity of the program, we cannot go on dumping everything in the main program. Hence we are going to divide it in the form of number of smaller parts or independent modules called as procedures. They are also called as subfunctions or functions. So that is second point. Third, here most important, see, the data is shared globally. That is, when we say a procedure oriented programming, it will be consisting of one or more number of functions, and the data here will be floating freely across each of these functions. That is, there is no restrictions on floating of data, and it is easily accessible by multiple functions. So that is next one, it is shared data globally. That is, because of sharing this data globally across the program, within the program, usually that is independent data is moving independently within the program, and hence it is not so much recommended for writing the programs which require high priority of security. So that is not recommended. So data should not be floating freely within the program, and it employs top down approach. That is, starting from the first point, it goes on breaking the module into sub modules, then sub modules are further divided into sub modules. So it is employing top down. So let us discuss about object oriented program. So we have discussed in the first year with respect to object and object oriented programming, how the programming is been done by making use of classes and objects. So here a systematic way of development of program will be taking place. In second year, you will be learning how to write the programs in the form of classes and objects. We have earlier written it in the form of procedure oriented programming, but here we'll be discussing how to write a program based on the classes and objects, which is very much secured, and where the data is not freely floating across multiple functions. That is what we require. Hence, compared to procedure oriented programming, OOPS concept provides more data security. So that is what data is freely floating in procedure oriented programming, whereas it is intact in object oriented programming, and each of these functions are associated with the data which it has to be acted upon by. So if I say, if there is a variable int x and y, and we have a function called as add, this add is a function which is associated with the variables x and y, so they are intact, and this function is allowed to act upon these variable directly, because that is a function associated with the variable. And if I have another function like sum, which is the function of another class, it is not allowed to directly act upon x and y until unless some authentication is not done, or there is no specified authorization of the variables. So that is what the meaning of intactness is. So a function is intact with the data, that is, it is going to act upon, and data is not freely floating, and hence it will be hidden from some other functions. So it is available only to the functions of the class, whereas it is not available to the functions of other. Let us have a brief of characteristics of object oriented programming. the emphasis or importance is given to data rather than solving. So we can solve the program by making use of one or more approaches. We can solve it definitely. There will be solution for each of the problems. But how about security of the data, and how about the intactness of data? That has to be also taken care. Hence, whenever we are solving the problem using OOPS concept, we also take care that data is safe and it is secured. The larger programs what we get are divided into number of small parts called as classes and objects, and this is how the programming is going to be developed. Obviously, when we say function is associated with the data which it has to act upon, the data is not freely floating and it is not globally shared also. So it is not freely floating and it will be more secured. Data is not independently moving across the program, and it follows bottom up approach of solving the problem. There are chances that you might get a question on 5 marks from this, but most likely question is advantages or applications. You can just have a look over this and remember the characteristics of object oriented as well as procedure oriented programming. In the next part we'll be discussing thoroughly with the characteristics of object oriented programming and the applications as well as advantages. Thank you.